Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Routing Loop. We have Alex
Hello.
again. Everybody
Hello.
knows from
Hello.
last time. And today we have a special guest, Anusha. Anusha, do you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do and who you are?
For sure, Jamie. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Anusa. I'm a product marketing manager on the networking team. I've been with AWS for 3.5 years now, and yeah, it's been a ride. I specifically focus on application networking, all the load balancers, API gateways, private lane, VPC lattice, all the jazz. And today I'm very excited to be here with Alex and Jamie. And yeah, I have to say this is my very first Twitch show, so bear with me.
No, easy,
Anusha
easy.
is our very best friend on the product marketing team, especially for VPC Lattice. For those of you joining us today, know
Mhm.
that both Jamie and I are extremely passionate about this topic. So Anusha is our best friend on the product marketing team.
Absolutely. All the cool stuff, the swag, all of the marketing, everything that has been made clear so it doesn't sound like just gobbledygook and jargon. Anusha is responsible for all that stuff.
Oh,
So
for sure.
Um, she helps make what Alex and I say turn into English and any other language that is readable and understandable from tech. So glad to have you here. And so, what are you going to? Well, actually, before we go to Anusha, Alex, it's been a while since you and I have been on the show together.
It's been a while. Hey, I think last time we were on a show together, we talked about IPv6. Isn't
I
that
think,
right?
yeah,
Yes, I'm remembering
surprised.
correctly.
I'm so surprised. IPv6 or Lattice are usually the two things.
Exactly. I had 50-50 chance of nailing it. I don't know. You folks joining us today, you should let us know which one was our last session together. If you folks don't know about the routing loop page, check it out. You will see all previous sessions there. So you'll have a quest of finding the last episode where Jamie and I were together on Twitch.
I just added it up on the channel. Yeah, the routing loop, all the previous sessions, everything else. So now, Anusha, what are we talking about today?
So we are talking about all things reInvent. Like we will cover everything about Explore, what you need to do, where you need to go, along with what are the sessions, recommended sessions from us. That includes our various session types with breakouts, shark talks, code talks, and workshops on builders too. So yeah, like we are going to talk everything about reInvent. Uh, uh, in this process, we'll also cover launches. I have to say, we do have a bunch of launches coming out today, tomorrow, and until reInvent. So please stay tuned. We have a lot of embargo sessions tied to these launches too. So keep looking or keep uh, going back to the session catalog to see if there are any new sessions that got added to the catalog so you can add it to your agenda.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right. It is. What would you say? The session catalog is fluid up until I think even during reInvent, I've had some deals where I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go home, and they're like, no, 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 you're getting a repeat, and it's going to be right when you're supposed to fly home. So check your catalog.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
the what's new post is definitely something to watch too. We've done that before, where we've pulled up all the recent launches and the ones we're currently doing as we speak. So we'll bring that up. I think later in the show, Anusha. That's part of what we're going to talk about. So what are we going to talk about first? What's
Um, but hey, folks, like before we go to that, it's the last routing loop live stream on Twitch before we go to Raven. Like that's it. It's 1.5 weeks. I
that's
am
right.
so excited. I am so excited. I would love to know from everyone who's joining us in the chat. I already see Ewe Edits here, sharing thoughts with us. I'd love to know from all of you who's joining us at re:Invent. Would love to catch up, talk about all things networking. So let us know in the chat if you're joining, um, if we get to meet there.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So why don't we kick off with what do we do at reInvent? So actually, even before we do that, here's one of the things. Alex, do you remember your first reInvent
I do.
as a
So
customer or as a presenter?
that is such a good story. It was so my first re:Invent was as a customer. And I have such a sweet, fond memory from my first reInvent. And I think I'm so happy you asked me this. This actually is not scripted, but I'm so happy that I get to tell the story. So my first reInvent, 2018, I was a customer. So I was obviously extremely excited. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Um, and I joined, and I remember that I used to work a lot with the transit VPC architecture, right? Classical. For those of you who remember transit VPCs with CSRs and VPN tiles,
Nick
uh,
Matthews' baby, right?
it was fun. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
I can't complain. But reInvent 2018, I remember that I got into Nick's or Matt's session where they were talking about transit gateway and reference architectures. And I remember the title of the session was Reference Architectures for Connecting Many VPCs in AWS. And it was so amazing. I remember being in that session and taking photos of every single every
Every slide.
single slide and architecture that they had. And then I came out of the session and I took out my laptop and my lab environment. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna test this out. I had the test account and I spun up the transit gateway. And I was like, oh my God, this works. This is so amazing. And then I remember I went back to my team and my manager and I was like, okay, we guys need to like set the scene here, and we need to work on adopting this. Needless to say, we did that, so it was amazing. And I have this feeling like that's kind of the feeling that since joining AWS, I try to recreate in my sessions at reInvent first and foremost, like through the slides and everything. Like
That joy.
I know everyone takes photos, so
Yeah.
it's they're optimized for having those photos, printing them, and saying, "Okay, I'm going to build this architecture," because that's exactly what I did. And second, I think it's such a cool thing to see now being on this side. The fact that we strive to create that reaction in customers of like, this is amazing, like I wanted this so badly and this is now launched, and like it's such a great feeling. So yeah,
I can
that was my
definitely.
And I want to
How about you,
add,
Nisha?
sorry, Jamie,
I
but
was gonna
yeah,
say,
I
how about
want
you?
to
What was your
add
what's your go ahead, Ned.
I want to add to Alex's story. So, if any of you are coming to reInvent, you should meet up with Alex and ask her how she got into networking. It's a very animated story. You should listen from her.
We'll have to probably
And
do
it's
that
so
on one of the
passionate.
shows.
She's
it
so
takes a
passionate.
while. It takes a while to tell that story. I usually
Yeah.
tell it over drinks, don't tell that to
Ah,
anyone.
it's
But
one of those stories.
it's a long
Cool.
story. It's a long story, yeah. But
How
we
about
should
you,
do that
Nisha?
actually.
We should make a show on that. Anusha, how about yourself? What your first reInvent? Were you with us or were you with another company?
It's with AWS. Jamie, I was supporting our edge networking services, CloudRun Route 53, Global Accelerator, all that edge networking stuff. It was great. It was an experience. I thought, okay, so I will be doing some booth duty and talking to SAs and customers, but believe me, you won't even have time to sit.
Yeah.
It's as packed.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
It's one of the main reasons for this show. I can remember my first time. I was supposed to go as a customer. I was a IT director for a healthcare firm, and I was all ready to go. And then stuff happened, so I had to send somebody else on my team. And they came back, and they had all this swag in these bags and stuff. And he's describing it. It was his first time, and he's like, "It's like a carnival. You won't believe it. It is like music and fanfare and DJs." I'm like, "What kind of conference is this?" Because I'm used to going to the standard. Everyone goes into the hotel lobby, you meet, and then you go into this room and sit forever. Everyone's sweating, it's smelly, and then you leave, right? But the very first time I got to go, I was doing a workshop, and it wasn't even for networking of all things. It was for when we just released Glue, and we were doing migrations from on-prem Oracle to an Aurora database, Postgres database. And I remember I had such a miserable experience because we'd done everything. We tested everything out, right? Everything was great. But little did we know, and we didn't follow up, that they were going to be releasing all these new features for Aurora as we were doing our workshop. So they were literally changing the way the console looked. And all of our instructions, everything was no longer valid. So it was just driving us crazy. And it was like, well, and then
Oh
of
my
course you
gosh.
walk out and like, oh man, this is terrible. And then music and lights and stuff like that. But I guess it all turned out well in the end. It was pretty good scores. We rolled with it. You know, we had some good folks. But yeah, my first reInvent was one of those heart pounder. Like I can't believe that you know this is happening to me. And everyone after that was much better for me. But yeah, cool reInvent.
It's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, Anusha,
Um,
all the things. Or I'm sorry, Alex, you go ahead.
If I see Dominic also joining here in the chat, has a
Oh,
question for you, actually.
did you have anything with AI in this workshop? Nothing with AI back then. I think SageMaker was maybe out, and that was as far as we got with AI. But nothing that cool or complex. I guess it was just you have to remember when we first came out with Aurora, the differentiator of that, if I'm going to get into it a little bit, is that we were abstracting away the caching layer and the storage layer and the processing engine into different sections so that we can process things and make things go much quicker. And there was a big push at that time where a lot of folks were moving their Oracle over. So it was a session that was chosen. We couldn't even believe it was chosen. I don't even think I was supposed to be chosen because I think it was only in AWS for the first 6 months. Remember they had that rule, like you didn't go to reInvent if you weren't there for
Oh
if
yeah,
the beta
yeah,
started
that's
for a full
true.
year. But I got yanked along anyway, so it was a good time. A lot of
Nice.
tap dancing on stage, let's say. But I also agree with you, Alex. It's like one of those things too, where when we make a presentation, it's usually two things, right? One, and 100%, you know, double click all the way what you said. You've got to put that wonder in there, right? Like we're showing you something cool, we're showing something new. And the other one is like how do we bring these concepts that be quite complex and make it easily viewable, digestible, and even entertaining, right? For the hour that you guys are sitting there. We're very happy you're sitting there with our sessions. We do realize you could be in every AIML session that's out there. I'm just putting that out there for you, Dominic.
Please don't go to AIML sessions. Come to our
go to the
networking sessions.
Just remember, if you want to connect to AIML, you got to have networking first.
It's all a bunch of boxes without networking, folks. So.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. I love that.
Exactly.
I
We're going
love
to
that.
rename this episode the Anti-AI Reinvention.
I think I'm gonna print a T-shirt that says it's all a bunch of boxes without networking.
Yeah. I do remember
I
those
love
old
that.
T-shirts where they showed the cloud and it's like it's just somebody else's data center.
Yeah.
Now we have to do
Exactly.
AI is it's just a bunch of boxes without networking.
Exactly. Well, so should we talk about what we have in store for reInvent? Because I'm getting really, really excited to
Yeah,
share with
yeah.
everyone what's coming.
Cool.
So
You
let
want to
me.
pop up the presentation? Yeah, there you go. That's one of
Yeah.
the downsides of all of us having control over the screen is popping up and popping down. So
Exactly. Is it large enough? Should I do it? I think
it's good.
it's good. Okay, let's get started. Anusha, do you want to take us through this? I have no idea what we're talking about here.
For sure. So I'm gonna discuss 3 aspects of Expo. Exclusively, we are doing it this year, and hopefully it works out, and we'll do it in future too. So let's talk Expo. And like there's a high chance that you go to a lot of these sessions, but you don't get your questions answered. So if you want to talk to SMEs or SAs or product leads, Expo is the place to go. There are a bunch of AWS networking, not just networking, a bunch of AWS kiosks available in the AWS Village. So if you look at the pink text there, it happens in the Venetian Level 2 Expo Hall, AWS Village, which is right in the center of the Expo. And to one corner of the village, there is this migration and modernization area where a networking and CDN kiosk is. CDN is content delivery. Just want to call it out. But yeah, so this is the place if you want to go do some whiteboarding and talk to SAs and look at some cool interactive demos. This year, we are featuring some demos on to make it more to make you onboarded easily onto AWS services. It's all about the customer experience. So this is the place to be if you want to talk to SAs, SMEs, and more.
Cool.
I can
Cool.
honestly say, and I know that you do this too, Alex, but sometimes between our sessions, we also will go and hang out there, right? So
Yeah.
you'll see a bunch of, not only will you see the folks that come up that, as Anusha mentioned, that are ready to answer your questions, but you could probably turn around and see 5 or 6 of us also standing around, also willing to answer your questions. We were even yelled at a little bit in one of our pre-meetings of like, all right, guys, make sure there's enough room for our actual customers to go to the booth. Because there's some other things other than just whiteboarding, right, Anusha? We've got, you have the,
Yes, that's on the next slide, Alex, if you can, please
I didn't
move
want to
on to
I
the
don't want to
next.
steal your thunder.
For sure,
No,
for
no.
sure. I am most
So
excited about this, by the way.
exactly. This is very cool thing that we are doing this year. So one of the feedbacks that we've received from a lot of our customers is networking is complicated. It's very tough to understand the architecture. There is an overlap. We acknowledge that. So what we are trying to do this year is a minority report style drag and drop, build your own network architecture thing, where we're focusing on 4 different use cases. So when you're at the kiosk, the same kiosk, networking and content delivery, you can try out these use cases, that is, build your own network architectures. And once you finish with the architecture, you will be handed out the school exclusive swag. So this is for VPC, but hold
That's
on to this.
amazing.
So
Oh
this
my
is
God,
for
I love that.
Cloud One, and
Oh
The
my
elephant.
God, that's amazing. Oh my
this is
gosh, I
for
love this.
verified access. There is
Love it.
Lattice too, the unicorn of the
Oh, I
services.
need to have the
So,
latest one. I can't believe that.
so we have
I'm
6
telling
of
you this,
those.
Alex, you
Go ahead.
have to finish the challenge. If you know how to
Exactly.
put together a lattice network, Alex, then you can get a unicorn.
I am sure I'll be able to do that.
I'm sure you'll be able to do that too.
By the way, folks, Jamie and Alex helped with the challenge or the use cases, so it's going to be amazing. Like various use cases, building hybrid architectures at scale. Then there is the lattice migration from EC2 to EKS, and how do you do that with zero downtime? There is a use case on zero trust, as well as the edge delivery for your end users with low latency and high performance.
That's amazing. So I sense CloudFront, I sense Lattice, I sense what else do we have there for Zero Trust, the verified access and VPN. That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Love it.
Direct
So
Connect and Cloud One too. Yep.
you folks have to polish your knowledge before getting to the booth, and you have to nail all those architecture scenarios and collect all the plushies.
Yeah. How many plushies can we get, Anusha? And then this is where Anusha says, Jamie, you don't get any plushies.
If you guys like, if we have to give multiple plushies to the attendees, then you won't be getting any. So there is limited quantity, but yeah, be there.
Oh,
See the
so
architecture.
there's limited quantity, so people have to come by the booth and prioritize that before the plushies run out.
Yeah.
And I can say, because of the fact that, you know, Alex and I did help out Anusha, it's a really good exercise too, to kind of think about where some of these topics that we're talking about in some of these services, sometimes we think about it like, oh, you know, Lattice is just service to service network. Well, there's a whole bunch of other things that we've seen on this show, as well as in other literature that is going to be, as an example there, that may spark some ideas in your brain as you start putting some of these things together. So that was the whole intent. And this was Anusha's big Think Big this year. And I'm very encouraged and very glad that she asked us for helping in that. So it's cool. Yeah, TechFuel had one for the VPC last. Well,
I want one too.
we can tell you how to do it. You just go to the booth and go through the exercise and see if you get a plushie.
That's amazing. You folks let us know in the chat. By the way, you folks are awfully silent today. Not that much back and forth here in the chat. Let us know, what do you think about re:Invent? Are you ready? What are your favorite types of sessions at re:Invent? What's your most expected I don't know, event at re:Invent? Are you looking forward to, I don't know, replay or I don't know, sessions, workshops, chalk talks? Let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback.
I got to say though, on Replay, I haven't gone to Replay in about 4 years.
Me neither. By Thursday, it's Thursday, right? Thursday
Yeah, it's usually
evening.
Yeah,
the Thursday evening.
it's
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, by Thursday, I'm like usually exhausted.
I
So
know.
I just go to the
I wa-
hotel room and crash.
I want to go, and the same thing is either that or I have a meeting with a customer, and Replay is
Yeah.
is quite loud. It's a great time though. I'm not bashing it. You know, we usually get some pretty good performers there. There's a whole bunch of activities there as well. The food is great. If you're into like dancing, whatnot, all that's there as well. But yeah, I just never get a chance. Either I'm talking with a customer, or just like you said it, Alex, I'm crashing, just because it's been too much.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Well, if you folks go to Replay this year, maybe we'll be there.
Maybe we'll. You know, Anisha was mentioning too, as an option, maybe we should do something where, like, on a particular day, the hosts of the routing loop will go somewhere, and maybe we can host something. We can get Anisha to pay for it, maybe.
For sure, for sure.
Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I know, right?
And keep tuned. We are going to release a blog once all these launches are sorted. Like we mentioned earlier, there are launches coming up today, tomorrow, day after. So once we have all these launches out, there'll be a like how to navigate through reInvent for networking sessions. So we're going to release a blog. So stay tuned.
Cool.
Cool.
And I
Awesome.
do see Ken has also piped up about joining late. Is there swag for the routing loop? Not necessarily for the routing loop, Ken, just to do a quick recap. But
yeah.
there's
Yes,
there's a lot of
show
swag.
all of them. Show all of them. So we have one that represents each service, right? So we have a swag for Lattice, for Cloud WAN, for verified access. So if you go to the booth and
This is CloudFront.
CloudFront. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, you need to go to the booth. You need to complete the networking challenges here to build your use case. And if you successfully do that, you get a plushie. So
Yep. And supplies are limited.
yes.
All
Cool
right.
stuff.
What else
else?
we got? Oh, yes.
This
this
is
is so nice.
one of the things that everyone should go and see. I'll tell you why. We are calling it the AWS Hardware Museum. But first, I want to ask a question, and like you can respond in the comments. How many of you do know that AWS designs and develops its own hardware devices?
I know.
Not you folks.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Definitely.
TechField knows. Very nice. Very nice.
Yes.
And Dominic.
So
Yeah, we do.
it all happens in the cloud. So like, how does the cloud look like? So this is the place you would want to go and check it out. So in the Hardware Museum, we are going to showcase AWS Silicon innovation that includes all generations of our Graviton, Inferentia, Trainium, Nitro cards, and networking switches, optical fiber. What kind of networking switches are used in the data center to support the traditional workloads, as well as the ultra cluster AI workloads, as well as the long haul switches for global network, right? Like AWS has this 9 million kilometers plus global network. It's the AWS's private network, and you will see the switches and fiber that powers this network. Moving on.
Do we have, Anusha, just a quick question. Do we have in the museum, I know last year in the innovation talk we talked about hollow core fiber. Do we have that in the museum?
We have hollow core fiber.
That is
Are we going to make it so
amazing.
somebody doesn't break it this year? I have to mention that. I'm sorry.
That's what the engineering team said, that they're gonna have a better casing for it this year. So let's see.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just a note on that too. You know, it's really important to note that AWS, being, you know, one of the first major cloud companies, and being what I would still consider in the forefront of cloud, we've had to make up a lot of stuff as we went along. right? So if you were to think about, if we were to use our traditional networking stuff that we're normally used to seeing, routers and switches and all of that, going back to the Cisco days and, the Calpanas and the Rackables and Junipers and all of that, we need literally another data center the size of the data center that we have compute in just to house all that networking equipment. And that's not very efficient. So, as Werner and all those folks were thinking about all this stuff, they're like, you know what? We're just going to simply have to make our own, and we're going to have to build it to the specs that we need. And that's what powers our cloud. So that's one of the main reasons why our cloud is so fast. And the reason why it is so redundant, it's that we're not relying on other people's things. We're basically building it as we see fit and using our experience to run that cloud. So it's pretty cool. And then as Anusha mentioned too, about that fiber network, this fiber network, you've seen the diagrams. I know, Alex, you've had pictures of it, and I've had pictures of the AWS backbone. That's all our fiber. All those lines going across the continent and going under the ocean, that's our stuff. And you get to actually see what this fiber looks like. And for me, that's crazy. Just don't break it.
It's definitely crazy, Jamie. We got a new fiber shipped from Australia for reInvent. So yeah, we are hoping
Nice.
it shows our AWS
It's
innovation.
pretty cool we added it from Australia. I have to wonder why.
Well, the lab in Australia has a subsea fiber optic cable.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Oh, and we're also going to talk about the new cable that goes undersea between Europe and US, right? Is that the new one? Did I get that right? Do we have that announcement handy, maybe?
I'm checking.
We'll have to check. But yeah, there's also, I remember, I think I watched a video on this, or I read a white paper on how the skin or the jacket of our undersea cable actually runs DC current through it. And then monitors literally tap in like a vampire tap to the outside so we can monitor how it's going. But also, because it does happen, we do live in the real world where, folks, if they try to tap into our fiber, if someone goes under the sea and actually tries to tap into it, we can tell immediately because it disrupts the current. So it's just so much thought going into just fiber. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I pasted in the chat here for all of you. I was remembering something, right? The Fastnet cable. I forgot the name,
Exactly.
but yes,
Yeah,
that's the one.
So
And
awesome.
last, the last one is the EC2 infrastructure. This is the first time we are displaying our compute servers, IAG, Intel-based instances, as well as AMD-based instances. And for a few of you, if you saw the Trainium 2 Ultra servers last year, we will be repeating that. So you get to see the Ultra servers again this year too. So
Nice.
this is what a cloud looks like, folks.
Yes.
And think of
Someone
it.
else's server. Someone else's
Yes,
server.
someone else's server.
Someone else's very fast, very, very expensive server.
I do wanna call out TechFuel's note here. So piggybacking on this topic, could you have a session on Nitro system in one of the routing group calls? I think that's a really cool idea. I think we should absolutely do that.
I will take a note of that.
That's amazing. Awesome. What else do we have on the shop?
Yeah, we should talk. It's about the innovation talk. You all might be aware that we have this innovation talk on networking. I believe in the years past, it was Dave Brown who was talking about our networking innovations. This year, it's going to be Robert Kennedy. He's our VP of Networking and Infrastructure Services. So he will be covering a lot of our launches, everything on Global Backbone, about the AI workloads and how the networking works inside a data center. So it's all great stuff. This is something you should attend or listen to if you're watching it virtual, because it covers all the high-level overview of what happened in AWS networking.
Yeah. So any launches fresh off the press, like as we're launching at reInvent, it's going to be mentioned there first before you see any of the sessions. Any good customer stories. We always get asked that question. I know, Alex, you get asked it as much as I do. Is like, what does everybody else do? What do all the other folks do? He's going to be talking about some of our partners and what they do and how they implement some of these things. We can't talk too much or anything at all about the launches on it. So that's why, Anusha really encourages you to go to this talk, because this is where you're going to hear a lot of these things first.
One of the other very or memories that I'm very fond of is at reInvent 2020, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Andy Jassy was on stage for the keynote, and he said this one line that kind of stuck with me, and it said that, I'm paraphrasing right now, you don't have great compute without the great network. So I think this is one of the sessions where you're going to get to see bit of the innovation that we're putting into making all of this AI stuff work. So join us. I think it's going to be really, really exciting, and you folks are gonna love it. It's about AI as well, but also from a different perspective, like what makes it work actually.
AI is, we were saying before, if you gotta love your AI, you still got to connect to it first, and this is going to address that. I do remember, just bringing that up too. The keynote that sticks out the most for me was, I can't remember what year it was, but it was when we were starting to work with the NFL and the NFL staff. And I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I've been a Buffalo Bills fan forever. Even when I moved to San Francisco for 6 years, I was still a Buffalo Bills fan. And it's still interesting to me. I always still think about that talk when they do that, brought to you by AWS, the NFL stats. And it's like, I saw how they put that together, because they talk a little bit about, what they do in Fuse. I think last year they did something, it was either last year or the year before, they did something with F1 where they're talking about how they put all the sensors in the car and how we pull that up. I mean, it's a great way to look at something to see how it all works together, right? When we see the result on TV, or we see the result in real world or real life, when you go to these keynote sessions, it talks about a little bit about how these partners actually work with us and all the things that go into the Rube Goldberg machine that makes the result that makes all the rest of our lives easier.
Yeah. And because you brought up NFL, I remembered that we just launched a blog post about CloudFront and the scale at which CloudFront operates. So in case you missed this one, super cool blog. Loved reading through it, and has some really, really nice insights there in terms of stats and throughput. Man, 290
67.
Yeah, 268 terabits per
68.
second. Wow. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's big. I remember when a gig was a lot. See, now
exactly.
I'm just dating myself now. I remember the time when I had to wire 2 zeros to make a 1. No, just not that old. But yeah, no, it's just crazy. I do remember when we just had 10 gig Ethernet that was shared on a hub, and now we're talking about terabytes slinging across the globe. It's nuts.
Yeah. Cool stuff. What else do we have? Sessions.
Our very own celebrities.
Oh man, All Stars, because we were just talking about NFL, right? And the All Star. Nice.
Hey, you're missing a session for me.
That's embargo, JV. So,
I know.
Me too. So you folks need to really go look at that catalog and refresh it. And make sure you don't miss these sessions that are going to come out as the launches get published. So yeah, this is not an exhaustive list, I would say.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm going to ask Jeff. I just put a link to the reInvent catalog as well, so he can put that up into our chat. But yeah, so what's Matt doing? He's talking with somebody.
Ask me anything about AWS networking.
That's my favorite. I must say, I love doing it for the years that I did it. I wish I could have done it again this year, but you're in great hands, because I think Matt invented that session.
He's doing many sessions.
Yeah, he did. Matt's been around. Like Matt, I think literally was built in an AWS lab somewhere, and they just gave him a nice, interesting accent and then all that, just because he's more friendly that way. I don't know, but no, seriously, that he's doing a session with Tom on the Ask Me Anything. Bring all of your questions to that one. Bring the hard ones too. We love doing it. Whiteboard it all out. Typically the slides for that I used to do are like only 4 slides. Like here, hello, this is me, and co-speaker it was Andrew and Dave, a couple of years past, and then ask your questions, bring them on. So don't be shy in that one. We actually want you to come and bring your questions. And then I know that, what else does he have? Oh, he has another one too. The embargo session that he is doing is also going to be with me and Malind, who is a PM for networking. We've had Malind on the show a few times, and that's going to be a deep dive on ELB. And we're going to go through the history of compute all the way through architectures and then what we're releasing up to that day. So that's that.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? I'm doing something on Lattice. Surprise, surprise. App modernization with VPC Lattice. So my session is going to basically be all about how do you modernize both your infrastructure and your applications. And it's a 300 level session, and it's going to be more or less teaching you how to use Lattice for low-hanging fruit, and then afterwards take the benefits of that later for doing the harder work and making the harder work easy. And then Alex, do you want to talk about yours, or you want me to?
Yes, I do want to talk about
Go for it.
the sessions I have, and I want to start by saying that I am a bit bummed that Matt is not here today with us on the show, because I would have had this emotional moment speech prepared for for this session.
Well, you can say it. We can tell him to watch it.
Yes. Hopefully,
I'll just be like,
hopefully
"Good
he'll watch
day,"
it.
and act like Matt, and you can just pretend that I'm
Oh my gosh. So this year is the first year when Advanced VPC Design and New Capabilities is not going to be a session in the past 5 years, at least, that Matt and I are co-presenting, which is a sad thing. It's also an exciting thing because now Matt is focusing on other things, other sessions, and I got to take over the
mantle.
The mantle, yes, exactly, for this one. And I'm going to be joined by Andrew. He's a principal networking specialist. He's had the Ask Me Anything session with you, Jamie, right?
He
Like
was,
I think
yeah.
last year. Yeah. So super excited. We are still working on the 10 million plus animations we have for the session. So be prepared for that. We are also working on the sticker for this year. It's obviously going to be a cat sticker. Do not worry. So we're going to have stickers to give away at our session. The only thing that I'm very bummed about is that it's all the way in MGM. So please do make sure you get some time to get to MGM from Venetian or whatever else your sessions or your EBCs are. It is going to be on Wednesday, December 3rd, 5:30 p.m. So the other good news about that is that afterwards we can all go for drinks. So,
I want to just say just a quick note on the getting between sessions. I always used to be a proponent. I used to take Ubers and cabs from session to session. And then last year I was in the MGM, or no, I was in Mandalay Bay. And because I see you've got a Mandalay Bay session in here.
I do.
And I strongly recommend take the shuttle. It was so much faster than going and taking the cabs, because the cabs still have to fight for all the traffic just to drop you off, and the shuttles go behind all of the casinos. And much
You
quicker.
mean the air train thingy?
Well, the air train thingy is one, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the buses that come to the different events venues. I'm telling you, it saved me so much time. I would never make one of my sessions. Yeah,
I didn't know that, Jamie. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Perfect. I will do that because the second session that I have is in Mandalay Bay. Crazy long. And it's also a repeat, by the way. I think it's two of these. I don't think Anusha you have it on the slide, but I'm pretty sure we have one on Monday, 3 p.m. And we have one on Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. So make sure you find it, Net 314, book it, and let's talk about solving private IP before address exhaustion, which is probably one of my biggest topics, my most favorite topics. And yes, you don't see IPv6 there, by the way. But
which is one of the things that's a bane for Alex. You can see her eye twitching on that one.
It is though going to be a topic for sure. but we are going to touch on IPv6. Do not worry. But we're also going to focus on Cloud WAN and VPC Lattice and see what the differences between those two are. So,
nice. And
stay
that is a
tuned
Chalk
for
Talk, right?
that. Is a Chalk Talk, yes. And the fact that it's a Chalk Talk means bring all your questions, please. And second, I do have an embargo session, which is going to be really exciting. I can't wait. So you folks refresh that catalog.
Refresh the catalog, make
Yeah.
sure. Now let's do a quick note, just again for the folks who are going to be going to reInvent for the first time. Breakout sessions and Chalk Talks. A breakout session is a session where we will go on stage, we'll talk about something. It's not very interactive. There's no questions asked during the middle of it. And typically questions afterwards are done at the door. They are recorded and they will be on YouTube. So if you can't make that session, I'm not saying don't make the sessions, but I would always prioritize the Chalk Talks, because the Chalk Talks will not be recorded. They're not going to be on reInvent, right, on the YouTube channels. And that's a place where you can go again and ask your questions directly. So you can go sit in your front seat, look at Alex and say, I don't want to use IPv6. How can I handle my exhaustion? And and anything you want to put in there. I need to use containers. I have to have it. Every container has to be on its own cluster. I mean, whatever you want to do. And then she will do her best to answer your question and give you the best advice that can be done at any of the Chalk Talks. These are yeah. Dominic does bring difficult questions. I will note that.
Yeah, and as schizophrenic web developer is saying here, it's not just asking difficult questions, but also challenging questions. And I think part of our roles here, Jamie, in AWS as solutions architects, is to provide prescriptive guidance and to provide some of the best practices of the things that we've seen customers do and the things we've seen customers be successful with versus things that we've seen customers not be very successful with. So yeah, for sure. Always up for challenging questions. However, as Jamie was mentioning, we will do our best to answer these questions. However, not always possible. We can share roadmap information and things that are part of our secret sauce part that we're not publicly talking about, but other than that, we'll absolutely try our best to answer all your questions. Yes. And yes, IPv6 can't connect to IPv4, unfortunately, not directly. There are translation mechanisms and there's also abstraction mechanisms. So really excited to talk about this, actually. So join us at the session.
Join at the session. And then we've got Tom. He's doing the Ask Me Anything with Matt, which is cool. Again, I would always say prioritize your Chalk Talks. And then also, we should mention for the Chalk Talks, the ones that you folks rate the highest are the ones that will come onto the routing loop the next year. So we will reinvite those speakers back. Except for the Ask Me Anything, because that's kind of like, that's what we do all the time on the routing loop, is you can ask us and we'll talk about it, right? As well as we can. But those Chalk Talks will come in. You guys can ask your questions just like you were there. So please stay tuned for that. But the breakout sessions will be recorded and will be viewable as many times as you want to on YouTube. And then last but not least, we have Sid. And he's deep diving into advanced routing policies with Cloud WAN.
Yeah, that should be a really cool session about Cloud WAN and global routing and how you can do all the cool stuff there. Should be really fun.
Yeah. So
we also have customer speakers. That's really exciting.
I have a customer speaking in mind. I'm not going to say who it is. You got to show up and find out who that is, but it's a big one.
Nice.
So we do have customer speakers. So please, like if you want to listen to other customers speaking about our services, do attend the sessions. And although we cannot promise any questions towards the end of a breakout, but this is a nice way to learn from how they're implementing in their environments.
No, absolutely. It's one of those things where we can tell you all day long. Alex and Anusha and I can be like, this is awesome, this is the best. But everyone knows the best news is from somebody else who has no vested interest and is using our products to their delight and their benefit. And it's really great and encouraging to see them and actually having them share what they're doing with their stuff. And it's a great way to look at, hey, they're solving a problem that was very similar to my problem. this is a really cool way of doing it. You can copy off of it, right? So yeah, definitely worth going to.
Awesome. I see some really cool customer names here, so really, really excited about that.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, this is the bird's eye view. I love it. I love it. So all the
breakout.
sessions, I would say probably what I would do is go into the catalog and bookmark, like love all the session, add to favorites, and then go to calendar view, and you're going to see your calendar populated with all the sessions. And it should be really, really fun. And to Kenneth's point, yes, I am still doing ISV 302. It is a session on the ISV track, not on the networking and content delivery track, but obviously we will talk a bit about networking, of course. ISV 302, scaling ISV deployments through cell-based architectures. So really, really cool talk about what involves to do cell-based architectures. Also, how you should be thinking about networking for cell-based architectures, which is something that people usually overlook. Infrastructure is like, oh yeah, whatever. We have like
they'll do it over there.
Whatever. Exactly. We have like VPCs, and there's not much thinking around how that infrastructure maps to the cellular architecture of the application on top. So yeah, I'm really excited about this session. So in case you missed it, ISV 302 on the ISV track. It is going to be Monday, early morning, my first session actually.
What time?
So 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Oh,
Pacific. Wow. 10 to 11 on Monday. It is a Chalk Talk as well. So bring on all your questions. We're going to answer the ones we can. We're going to connect offline under NDA for the things that we can't answer. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Nice. What else we have here?
Okay,
Advanced
so we
VPC design and new capabilities. Who's that?
Okay, so Jamie, you said earlier, I do have to scold you on this one. You said earlier, prioritize your Chalk Talks and not
I'm
the
still going to
breakout
stand by
sessions.
it. I'm sorry.
You have to take that back with or put it out there with like a
caveats.
A caveat. Caveat number one.
Go to mine first, then go to Alex's. Actually, I think you've got us beat then, right? When's your advanced VPC design? My first breakout is 5:30 on Monday at the Win.
So you're first, yes.
So go to mine, get burned out, skip Alex's, watch it. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Definitely go to Alex's. It's always great. They're always good. I tease. Cool. But yes, I mean, if you have to, though, I mean, realistically, if there's a time crunch, you even have to admit to, Alex, if there's like, I can go to a breakout or I can go to a Chalk Talk. As much as I'd love you, go to our breakouts. The Chalk Talk.
I would say
the place.
I would say, given that our breakouts are at 5:30 p.m., I don't think there's other Chalk Talks then that are as interesting.
All right, let's look at all the Chalk Talks at 5:30 p.m. and then let all of the speakers know that Alex says you're not.
Exactly.
That's probably true. That is probably true. And but true enough, though, if you do go to a Chalk Talk or if you do go to a breakout, again, all the energy, all the passion put into making that presentation and those decks, you'll definitely be able to experience it live, which is different than watching it in, basically at 1.5 speed on YouTube.
but that said, all the breakout sessions are going to be uploaded to YouTube. So I usually say this at the beginning of the session, but if you missed taking a photo during the session, don't worry. You will find the recording. We usually publish slides as well afterwards. So don't worry about the taking photos of every single slide. There's going to be a lot of slides, just so you know. So don't take photos of every slide. And we have like a guiding session, a guiding question here from Ken. Ken, it's like you're reading our minds.
Yes.
So Anusha, do you wanna walk us through the Chalk Talks? Anything interesting that picked your attention this year?
Let's see.
Definitely don't go to that.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
definitely go to that IP exhaustion one. No one wants to.
Okay.
Look at
Hey, boo, boo. I would say that probably one of the ones that I would be really interested in is the network observability
I was gonna say
talk.
that too. Yeah, the
Yeah,
network
yeah.
observability, and there's one more on security, because yeah, network security one, the one with CloudFront, as well as there is one on verified access. I'm trying to find it here.
Uh, somewhere there, maybe on the next page.
Maybe on the next
I will
page.
call out to the Elastic Load Balancing Cookbook. That's definitely one to go look at if you're going to do advanced, if you need advanced proxy, right? So ALB, NLB, we all know, and Gateway Load Balancer, which is more or less for the firewalls. They could be used very simply, right? I'm presenting my front end endpoint or URL or IP address, connect to it, and then you can run robin or do all sorts of things on the for the backend targets. But there's authentication offload. There's a bunch. We just have the JWT authorizer, and we've worked on and we've had MTLS added, and there's Quick has been released now for NLB. So there's like a lot of extra on top things or a lot of nuanced configurations that you can do to get even more out of those. So I know that, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, yes, ALB app networking near and dear to my heart, but there's a lot of overlooked features. And there are many times when I'm having conversations with a lot of you customers and you're like, we would just like to be able to do this, 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 and this. And it's like, well, you can. These are the features of the ALB. Oh, we have ALBs all over ours that we don't even know this would happen. Well, definitely take a look at that. So I'm just going to put that out there.
I want to call out
Yeah.
Net 214 too, because in our AWS networking world, we have a lot of network connectivity options. Sometimes you might have this question on which service to use to connect these workloads. So that is a good shop talk to go to. Look at various options. What suits your use cases the best? That's the session you should be attending.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Awesome. And we also have workshops, right?
Yeah, let's take a look at workshops. Even though Ken is asking about Net 3 and 5, that does look like a good one too, looking at what trade-offs for networking. So
yeah. All of them are good, right? They're going through a very rigorous selection process. So all of them are really, really good.
Yes.
I also want to call out, sorry, Jamie. I
No,
also
go.
want to call out networking as one of the highly rated tracks. So all of our speakers do a great job about it. So yeah.
It's the passion. Again, I'm going to bring it back
It's the
to it. A lot
passion.
of us,
Yep.
everyone knows that if you're into networking, you've got to be a little crazy. So if you're a little crazy, you got to have some passion added into that too.
Oh, that's true. I don't know what to say, Jamie. I mean, maybe.
I mean, people would get it by looking at your faces, people.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, bro.
that we're passionate or that we're a bit crazy.
No. Both, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so workshops. I love the application networking simplified.
Yeah, I do too. Application networking simplified is a good one. And again, I can't harp on it enough. Application networking is something that we've been hearing more recently as a thing, as opposed to just a blanket of networking. And the closer that networking gets to the applications, the more complex things can get, the more threat surface areas can be opened up. So it's just definitely something that you need to really pay attention to. And then once if it's all set up right, it's a thing of beauty, right? Where you have your applications as part of your decision stream, sending where your packets go, how they come back. So you don't have to try to figure everything out all within the core network. That's a great one. I would definitely go there, and you can actually play with these things, right? With these workshops.
Pretty cool. And builder session and code talks. Oh my gosh, we have so many cool things happening.
Yes.
DNS Unleashed. I love DNS.
So do
I.
I think we're the only two people who love DNS, Alex.
No, I caveated my statement. I love DNS. Not.
I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
Oh my gosh.
DNS and bind.
DNS is fun.
Those are the things.
DNS is fun.
Do you remember that big, thick O'Reilly book back in the day? It was
Yes,
like
I
real
do.
thick, and
Yes, I do. Yeah. I do want to call out one thing, which is super, super cool. AWS Cloud Run MCP server.
Yes,
This is amazing. What? This is, I think, is it our first MCP server we're publishing for a networking service?
I think it is.
That is amazing. I would love to participate in this one if I have time. Actually, we should see. I'm super excited about this.
Another one that's really good is the managing bots versus humans with CloudFront.
Yes.
I'm going to bring up a little bit of AI here. I'm sorry, but I'm going to bring it up. I was reading an article the other day. The very first large cyber attack that was driven completely by AI was thwarted. So that means that this is going to continue, right? So
Is that Anthropic, Jamie?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they thwarted it. So it's like, people are going to start doing this. That AI is a great tool, and there's a lot of things that you can do with it. I know people love to do their vibe coding and all that with it, but some people are doing some vibe hacking. So if it makes coding easier, it makes hacking easier. So you need to be a little bit more on your toes, and managing the bots versus humans with CloudFront will get you there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna share here in the chat for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. Pretty cool article to read as well. Kudos to the folks on
Thanks
on
for
the
putting that up
Anthropic
there, Alex. That was a really cool article.
Yeah. And last but not least, keynotes. That's exciting.
Keynotes is something that you would want to put a check mark on at the start of the day. The reason is this is where you get across AWS all the launches which are big, so you would know what we are talking about and what's the strategies for going forward. So
really cool.
Yeah, it'll set the vibe. And remember too, at the keynotes, a lot of times it's the leadership from Amazon. So they're giving you an idea of where the company's direction is going. They're basically letting you know about their leadership decisions, how they came to it, the partners, folks that have benefited from it, all the launches. Definitely something to go. I always try to, sneak in there and take a look.
I am personally very, very excited about Matt Garman's keynote this year.
Oh, yeah.
Stay tuned for that. It's going to be really, really cool. I love it. Okay, I can't wait. Cool stuff. What else do we have? Because if we don't have anything else, we are at the end of the time. We're at the end of the slides. We're really one step closer, 1 hour closer to reInvent.
And if any of you see any of us from the Twitch show, if you see Anusha as well, stop us, say hi, let us know how we're doing, and tell us hey, what you want to hear on the show, what you don't like about the show, and we'll do our best.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the internet.
Absolutely. Nice. Well, it sometimes feels to me, for example, when I'm in the weekend and I'm watching YouTube that I finished YouTube, so it's kind of that feeling. But yeah, looking forward to seeing all of you folks at reInvent. Please do stop, say hi. We can take selfies. Looking forward to those, and we're never too busy for that. So,
and bring your crazy networking stories. We love hearing about those, and we've got plenty ourselves too.
And don't forget about the plushies and the networking booth challenges. Yes,
I gotta bring up the plushies again. Look at that.
Oh my God, that is amazing. I love those. So the unicorn is for Lattice, by the way. For those of you who weren't with us from the beginning, that is the best one. I mean, it's the best.
I gotta say the CloudWAN one is pretty good too.
CloudWAN is pretty good too.
It's really cute.
If I'm not biased,
never forget.
If I'm not biased for Lattice, I would have chosen this.
Yeah, exactly.
But which one is the teddy bear?
It's Amazon VPC, so it's the foundation.
I think we are at time. We are at time. So see you folks after reInvent.
You all have a good one.